My mother and I have a sacred tradition. Sacred tradition is the fact that it's the way that my mother and I kept our traditions, our culture, our connection to our country, even though we have been living in this country for a long time. We have been living in this country at that time about 20 years, but every Sunday morning, despite my marriages, my divorce, my marriages, my divorce, my mother and I have Sunday morning breakfast together every Sunday. This morning I called her to wish her a happy breakfast, even though I was here. But every Sunday morning we have breakfast together. Now I have two jobs. Job number one, eat my mother's food, which as you can see, I have no problem with that. Job number two, stop by the Guatemalan bakery so I can get some Guatemalan bread for a Guatemalan breakfast together because my mother cooks Guatemalan food. So like any other Sunday, I go to the bakery and I stop at the bakery to buy some bread when I see a sign behind the lady at the counter and I cannot believe my eyes. Is that true? I asked the lady. She looked back and she's like, oh yeah, we sell pollo campero here. Okay, I can see by the lack of reaction in the audience that you don't know what pollo campero is. So let me translate it for you. Pollo campero means country chicken. Okay, I can see still by your lack of reaction that you don't know what country chicken means. Country chicken, pollo campero is the most delicious chicken that you can eat and you love it. It's a chicken that is the most famous fast food restaurant in Guatemala. They make chicken that is made with a secret recipe and secret spices and it's delicious. When I was living in Guatemala, my family would go there for celebrations, for birthdays, for graduations. We go there all the time when we have money and it has a special place in our memories and our hearts. And we've been in this country for 20 years and we hadn't had pollo campero. So forget about the bread. I'm going to buy some pollo campero and surprise my mom. So I asked the lady, how much for 2 pieces of pollo? And she says, $50. And that's what I say. Because I'm cheap. I don't like spending money. And at the time I was making like $5 an hour. So when you make $5 an hour, you don't think about $50. No, you think, well, it's 2 days of work minus taxes. It's almost 3 days of work, but I have to pay the rent. It becomes a lot of money. So I'm like, I cannot pay $50 for 2 pieces of pollo. Maybe I could just buy one for myself. And don't tell my mom about it. So I ordered 1 piece of chicken and it's $25 and it hurts to even think about it. And then the lady said, come back in 3 weeks. That's what I say. And she said, and so I'm like, what do you mean 3 weeks for a piece of chicken? She's like, sir, this is a bakery. We don't make chicken here. Let me explain you, she said. There's a pollo campero in New York. We're in Chicago. My husband goes to New York at the end of the month, brings back the chicken for whoever ordered it, and then we give it away to people. We sell it to people. The place have ordered it before. So you have to wait 3 weeks for my husband to go to New York. And then it hits me. In 3 weeks is my mother's birthday. I know some of you are thinking you're gonna buy chicken for your mother's birthday, and yes, because this is pollo campero, the most delicious chicken you could ever have. So I ordered 2 pieces of chicken and I go back home. I go to my mom's house. I don't say anything about the chicken. We have breakfast and everything. And 3 weeks later, they call me, my chicken is ready. I don't know you ever been on a drive-thru waiting for your food and they take it too long. And you were like, where's my food? And you start honking and you want to talk to the manager. I waited 3 weeks for 2 pieces of chicken. And I'm so happy when I get there. I come here with my chicken, 2 pieces of chicken, $50, but I'm here. And the lady, yeah, I remember you. She gives me my 2 pieces of chicken, I grab it, and it's frozen. That's what I say. So the lady says, before you start complaining, let me explain it to you. I don't know if you're coming back today, or in 2 days, or in a week to pick up your chicken. So when we go to New York to buy the chicken, my husband put the chicken on a freezer so it doesn't spoil, and then we give it to people. But don't worry, put it on the microwave, 2 minutes, it will be ready. $50 for 2 pieces of frozen chicken. This better be good when I get home. I get to my mom's house and I knock on the door. And my niece, who's like 50 years old, opened the door. What you want? I'm not here to see you, I'm here to see my mom. Whatever, she says. She goes into the room and she closes the door. I ignore her, I go into the kitchen, I tell my mom, close your eyes, sit down, close your eyes. My mom sits down, closes her eyes. I go to the microwave, I open the microwave, put the chicken in there, 2 minutes. I open the door of the microwave. Está pollo campero. My mom immediately says, my niece opened the door to her room, is that food? Well, you know how teenagers are. She comes into the kitchen, grabs a piece of chicken, puts ketchup on it. No! I scream to my niece, what's up? You don't put ketchup on pollo campero. I tell her, why not? Because it's a special chicken, the most delicious chicken that you could ever have, and it's made with a special recipe and special spices, like KFC. And she's kind of right, but she's wrong because this is pollo campero. So I'm trying to explain it to her, and as I try to explain it, she keeps eating, and then I look around and my mom's still eating, and they both eating my chicken that I paid $50 for. And they're eating the chicken, so I told my mom, can you give me a piece of chicken? And she takes a little tiny nugget of chicken and puts it in my hand. And I look at this tiny $50 of chicken that I paid for, and I'm thinking it's too much money, and I put it in my mouth, and immediately, all the memories of me as a kid going to Pollo Campero with my mom and my siblings and in my country, it hit me, and I have a big smile on my face, and I look at my mom, and my mom is eating her chicken with tears of happiness running down her face. And I look at this $50 piece of chicken, and I realize that, yeah, it was $50, it's a lot of money, but some memories are priceless. Memories of Guatemala kept haunting me and haunting me as I lived here in the United States. And after over 3 decades of living in the United States, the first 15 years unable to go back to Guatemala because I have no papers, I have no documents. And then I get my green card, but I'm broke, so I have no papers for the next 15 years because I have no money. So for 30 years without papers, I become an American citizen. I get married to my third wife. And then I'm so excited when we get married, and then a couple of months after we get married, she tells me, we haven't had a honeymoon. How about if we go back to Guatemala as a honeymoon, for you to go back to Guatemala for the first time? And I know then that I have married the woman of my dreams. So we fly back to Guatemala, and I cannot tell you the emotion that I felt as I landed in Guatemala for the first time in over 30 years. I haven't been there since I was, this high. I haven't been there since I was 15 years old. It's been forever. And I landed in Guatemala, and for the first time in my life, I'm in a room full of people my same height. And they all speak the same language, the same way that I do, and it feels amazing. And my wife is like, how you feel? I'm like, the only thing that can make this better is if I could eat some rellenitos in Guatemala. And she's like, rellenitos? She's like, yeah, rellenitos. Because she knows about pollo campero, but rellenitos is this special food that Guatemalans make. It's made of plantains that are refried with sugar. And inside the plantains, you put beans that have been refried with sugar. And then you put all that together and make it into a little tamal. And then on top of that, you put sugar. And then you put sour cream. And then guess what you put on top of sour cream? You had your rellenitos before, I think. So you put sugar on it, it's delicious. So I told my wife that that's what I want to have. And we go out in Guatemala, and I'm excited looking at everything. And we go to a restaurant, and I want to ask if they have rellenitos. They don't have rellenitos. But they have a dulce de lote, which is a drink made out of corn. And I told my wife, my mom used to take us to church every Sunday, and I hated going to church. But after church, we went to the park, and she always buy us a tol de lote. I haven't had a tol de lote. That was the only reason why I went to church with my mom. I haven't had a tol de lote in years, and I drink it, and I feel so happy that I start crying. I tried to make to my wife a tol de lote when we went to church, and he did it. I said, okay, calm down, everybody looking at you, calm down. We don't find rellenitos that day, but the next day we go to a restaurant. I ask for rellenitos. They don't have rellenitos, but they have tortillas. And I know you're thinking, dude, you could buy tortillas at Juice, at whatever store. And I'm like, no, yes, I know, but they come in a little package. You put it on the microwave. That's not tortillas. I mean tortillas, handmade tortillas. The lady's like making it with her hand and putting it in the hot plate, and they come out, and I ask the lady at the restaurant, can I have one tortilla? And she takes it out of the hot plate, give it to me. I take the tortilla, I put some salt on it, and I start eating it. And my wife is like, what are you doing? You're spoiling your appetite. I'm like, you don't understand. There was some days where we had nothing to eat, and my mom, we just had enough money for tortillas, and we put salt on the tortillas, and that's what the whole thing we ate for dinner. And now I'm here as a tourist. I come to Guatemala for the first time, I'm eating tortillas, I eat tortillas. And my wife is like, okay, you're making a full of result. Don't cry. We don't find rellenitos, but we go to another restaurant the next day, and they have a patio, so it's very fancy. And in the patio they have a tree, and I look at the tree, and I climb the tree, and I start eating the fruit from the tree. And my wife is like, are you a monkey? What are you doing? I say, these are nonsense. For Christmas time, we didn't have money for lights, so my mom would just buy nonsense and put it on the Christmas light. So that's what you do when you don't have any money. Instead of Christmas lights, she put nonsense all around the Christmas. And she didn't want us, me and my brothers, to eat them, but we always ate from the back first, and then we ate from the front. So by the time Christmas came, we only had a string on the Christmas tree. And these are so delicious. I haven't had any nonsense. And my wife is like, get down from there. Like, yo, please stop crying. I'm like, we looked for rellenitos, and we couldn't find any rellenitos. So it's time for us to come back home. And now we are at the airport, and we get there really early because my wife, she loves to get there too early. So we get there like 5 hours early. And she tried to tell me like how was the trip. I told her that it was amazing, and she said, sorry, we couldn't find any rellenitos. And I say, don't worry, because rellenitos means a tiny thing that is full. And I'm tiny, and I'm so full of all the stuff that I ate the whole trip. And she says, okay. And we're walking around, just wasting time. And I see a restaurant, and I'm looking at the menu, it's just to waste time. And the guy at the restaurant comes out like, sir, do you want a table? Do you want to sit down? And I look at the prices, and they're expensive. So I'm cheap. I don't know if I told you that. So I told the guy, no, you don't have what I want. I said, as an excuse. And he said, sir, what are you looking for? And I said, rellenitos. He said, sir, we have plantains, we have beans, we have sour cream, we have sugar. We can make rellenitos for you. Hold on. He goes into the kitchen, brings the chef, and the chef is like, sir, what are you looking for? I'm like, rellenitos, sir, we can make you rellenitos. Sit down. They bring a table, we sit down, and my wife is like, please don't cry. I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. What do you mean? I'm just happy because rellenitos. 15 minutes later, they bring a plate for rellenitos for me, and a plate for rellenitos for my wife, and I bite into the rellenitos. Oh my God. Have you seen the movie Ratatouille? When the critic is sitting down and he sees himself as a little kid, imagine that but 100 times over. Because I'm for the first time back in my country with my people, speaking Spanish, the way that we speak, and all these memories start coming into my head, and I start crying. Like I never cried before. And my wife is stop crying. So please stop crying. I'm like, okay. Stop crying. I got to go to the washroom to clean my face. So I get up, start going to the washroom, and I see the kitchen that is open. I had to tell thank you to the chef. So I start walking into the kitchen, and I see the chef, and I start to explain myself. I got to cry, and I cannot help myself because I'm so full of emotion. And then everybody's making food, and everybody stops and looks at me. And then it hits me. Guatemala is a very homophobic country. And I'm straight, but I'm not behaving like a straight guy, like we're supposed to behave, because men are supposed to be manly, men are not supposed to cry. And here I am, crying like a little baby, and everybody's looking at me, and I think they're gonna jump me and pick me up. And I'm afraid, but I cannot stop crying because it's all the emotions. And everybody stops, and the chef stops, and the chef walks up to me and looks at me up and down, and I think he's gonna hit me. And he looks at me and he says, "Welcome home, brother." And I felt at home. I felt at home for the first time in so long. You see, when we came to this country, I felt so strange because things were so different in this country. I was 15 years old, and everything was so different. The language was different. The traditions were different, especially the traditions. Here, you guys open your presents Christmas morning. Latin American people in Guatemala, we open our presents at midnight. So by the time you guys are opening your gifts, we're already at the store exchanging our gifts or getting our money back. Here, you guys celebrate Easter, which is a bunny that lays eggs that are made of chocolate and has something to do with Christ. I still don't understand it. And what I couldn't understand was Halloween. Because my parents spent my whole life telling me, don't take things for strangers. Don't go to strangers' houses. And here, you dress up your kids, you take them to strangers' houses so they can have candy. And everybody wears a mask. In Guatemala, you saw anybody wearing a mask, you were wrong. Because they will rob you, kidnap you, or worse. So it took me many years to understand Halloween. Until finally, after about 20 years of living here, I decided it's time for me to get a little bit American. I'm going to celebrate Halloween for the first time. I'm going to dress up. So I started to look for everything that I needed. I went to the store, but everything was expensive, so I don't know if I told you, but I'm cheap. So I'm not going to spend $300 on a costume. So I go to my favorite store, the thrift stores. And I look for everything that I need. I needed white Converse, black pants, a shirt, a white shirt with black stripes, a black jacket, and a little French hat. I went to different thrift stores until I found everything that I needed, and I put my costume together. I had spent like $20, which is a lot of money for me. So I wanted to make my money back, and I decided I'm going to go to a club for a contest to win that first prize because my costume is amazing. So I go downtown Chicago and I pay $10 for parking. Now I'm $30 down. And I pay another $20 to getting into the club. Now I'm $50 down. And I go into the club and people are dressing up as Spider-Man, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Hulk. Everybody's dressed up. The MC starts calling people for the contest. Superman, yay! Spider-Man, yay! They call me. I'm out here like, who are you supposed to be? And before I can say anything, he's like, I know. You're a mine. One of those people that say a case and I'm like, no, not a mine. I'm talking to you. Then he's like, so who are you supposed to be? And I say, I'm Sean Peters. And yes, right here, nobody say anything. You see, Sean Peters is a character from Chespirito. Chespirito was the most famous Mexican comedian ever. He was so talented that Charlie Chaplin nicknamed him Chespirito, which means Little Shakespeare, because he had so many characters and so many ideas. His show was watched in Mexico, in Guatemala, Central America, in Argentina, in Chile, in Puerto Rico, even Brazil that didn't speak Spanish, everybody was Chespirito. We grew up watching Chespirito, but here nobody knows who Chespirito is, who Sean Peters is, so believe it or not, I didn't win. So I go home, and I'm not like, I lost $50 now. What do I do? Because I want to win this contest, and I lost $50. What do I do? So I decide I'm gonna go again to another club to see if I can win. So the next night, I drive away from downtown, and I go to a little bit to the south side, and I go to a club, and I pay $10 for a parking, so now I'm $60 down, and I pay $20 to get in, but as I'm about to get in, the security guard looks at me. You cannot come in. Why not? You're wearing a hat. I'm like, this is part of the costume. I explained to him. He's like, no, you cannot come in here. Too many gamblers come with hats, and they're getting to fight. You cannot come in. I'm like, dude, this is a costume. This is not a gambling hat. He's like, no. I start to try to fight with him, which is crazy because he's super huge. And another security guard comes and says, what's the problem? What's the problem? And he said, well, he wants to come in. And he's like, let him in. The hat is part of the costume. I look at the security guard and say, you know who I am? And he's like, yeah, go in. dude, go in, you're gonna win. I'm like, oh. I go in and I listen. They playing cumbia music. They playing salsa music. They playing merengue. They playing bachata. It's Latino night at a nightclub. And as soon as I walk in, everybody knows who I am. The girls are taking pictures with me. Guys are buying me drinks. Everybody like, jump it out, come over here, jump it out. Everybody knows who I am. The MC calls people to the stage. He calls Superman. He calls Spider-Man. He calls me, jump it out. And everybody goes, jump it out. The people on the left start going, jump it out. The people on the right go, jump it out. Everybody's excited. And they decide that they're gonna award first, second, and third prize. So they're gonna be a second round. I'm one of the people for the second round. They call somebody who's dressed up as Superman. They call somebody who dressed up as Spider-Man, and then they call me. This time, I come to the stage with a friend of mine, and I stand on stage, and my friend takes off my hat, and he combs my hair, and he's laughing. And I do this, which is something that Chompiras did on the TV show, and the crowd goes crazy. The DJ starts playing a little song, which is the theme song or the Chespirito song. And the crowd starts dancing, and everybody goes, Chompira. The MC doesn't even have to ask who's the winner, because that night I won $300. And today, you are also winners. I'm not gonna give you any money. I told you I'm cheap. But I'm giving you something better. I'm giving you knowledge. Because before today, you probably didn't know who Chompiras was. You had no idea about Chespirito, about how we Latin American people, we grew up watching Chespirito. So now you know, you got knowledge. And most importantly, before today, you probably heard that immigrants, people like me that come to this country undocumented, we come here to force our language on you and to force our traditions on you. But now you know that's not the truth. We learn your language. We learn your traditions. We put a little spices on them and we make them ours. We make them better. And isn't that, exactly that, the contributions of immigrants from all over the world that have truly made this country great? Thank you.